Guys, please check your audio and video settings. Yes. Yesterday we have seen component mapping, boss. It is addressing problem of granularity. What is the discussion we made? We can take entity classes in composition to improve the modularity, but we cannot keep tables in composition. Are you getting my point there? But I want to see entity classes of composition pointing to single table. That means more granules pointing to single table. Do you think it is possible with basic OR mapping? Not possible. But I want to make it possible. Then we should go for advanced OR mapping. And one of the advanced OR mapping is component mapping. Got the point, guys? One of the advanced OR mapping is literally solidly what is that component mapping. Everyone understood my point there or not? Okay. The property that can be mapped with more columns is called component property. How to configure property as a component property here? How to specify this is not a regular property, this is a component property in XML file. We should use component tag. In case of annotation, embedded. In case of XML, it is component tag. Everyone got it? Yes. So yesterday we have taken student info as the entity class, address as the helper class, and student info is having address as the component property. How I configured that one in the mapping file here? Have exactly we configured in the mapping file? Yes. Student info pointing to the table, that's regular. SNO as a ID property, SName regular, average regular. But when it comes to address, we are using what tag here? Component tag. What tag here? Component tag. Did you notice it? Sir, you are writing class but without package name. Since I mentioned package name here, there is no need of writing package name in every place. Okay, if multiple classes belongs to same package and all of them you are configuring in a same mapping file, you write package name only for one time and you use the classes wherever you want. Later we have done insert operation, guys. Component mapping insert operation. Okay, listen. Address one, info one. Info one is the main class, address one is the has a relationship class. So I am linking address object to student object. Similarly, address to object to student object. Linking or not? Come on, guys. Linking. Then we are calling regular save method. Okay. Regular save method. What do you say, guys? Yes. Record insertion is taking place. Fine. Now I want to perform select operation, guys. File save as component mapping select test. Component mapping select test. Change the class name to select test. No need of preparing objects, guys. No need of preparing object. Here, transaction, okay. Contextual session are required. This is not required. This is not required. This flag story also not required. Yes. Here I would like to say load objects. Okay, here I would like to say load objects. I want to load all objects, guys. Then what should I do? Query is equal to query is equal to session dot create query. Session dot create query. Session dot create query. There, what should I take? From from what is the main class here? Student info. And actually package name is better, because if 2-3 classes are also having same name, then we can avoid the confusion, right? Com dot nt dot entity dot student info. Yes, yes, we mentioned it. Control plus shift plus O. Query dot query is the right option. Next, list. This query student info. Now tell me, list student info. List student info. Query dot get result list of. Query dot get result list of. Yes, guys. Oh, it is coming as a first result. Actually, it is query dot get result list of. Nice. List dot for each. List dot for each. STRO. By all this stuff. Next, we'll just go for list dot for each. System dot out to colon. What is next? Println. Component mapping test. Select test, guys. Component mapping select test. I think yesterday we inserted 2 records and you will get both the records. See, main records are coming. When it comes to address object, injected as a relation property, sub property is also coming. The as a relation property, sub property is also coming, because first 2 string is calling second 2 string here. Student info 2 string is internally calling address object 2 string method. Is calling address object 2 string method. Is calling what here? Address object 2 string method. Everyone understood my point there? Sir, that is not a question. I want to apply condition, but has the relation property, sub property I want to involve in the condition. Then how to write that condition, sir? I want to get only those details. Okay. I want to get only those details whose whose street name is RK Street. Whose street name is RK Street. I think we don't have multiple records. We have only 2 records. Acha, all are same. Array, maximum information is same, ra babu. 1 minute. Acha, no. RK Street. Yes, street is different. Observe, here RK Street is there. Here DK Street is there. Fine, na? Okay. Yeah, come here from this one. Where how to write that one, sir? Yeah, what is the main property name here? Main property name in student info, address, ADDRS. In that sub property is street name. Then how to write that one, sir? Everyone can guess it. Guess it. How to write that? Directly, you cannot write street name, boss. Hmm. So you should write addrs dot. What is that? Street name. Addrs dot street name is equal to colon. Yes. Okay. Colon street. Addrs dot street name is equal to colon street. Colon street. Tell me. Query dot set string street. What is this? RK street. What is this? RK street. Set string is old one here. Nowadays everyone is using what? Set parameter. That's the latest one. Set parameter. Fine. Hmm. What is the parameter name? Param name. Yeah. Street is the param name. STREW. Street. What is the value? RK street. RK street. Let's see whether we are going to get one record or two record. Let's check. Yeah, satisfying this, we are going to get only one record, which is having RK street. Earlier, two records have come. Now we are getting only one record. Did you observe this, guys? Easier, not easier? Okay. So, component mapping load object. Are remaining all are normal, ra babu. Only the thing is, okay, how to involve sub properties. That's it. How to involve sub property. Select operation in component mapping. Select operation in component mapping. I just want to highlight this one. Everyone understood my point, guys? Okay. Now, I would like to convert same application into annotation driven application, boss. Okay. Annotation driven application. Why we are not using session.load method while accessing object from database? Abdul Mohit, if you want to, if you are interested for one record, go for load method. If you are interested for more records, you should go for load method. Huh? Abdul Mohit, I didn't expect this dumb question from you guys. Right now, I am interested to perform single record loading, multiple records loading, multiple records loading. When you want to perform bulk select operation, I should go for what? I should go for bulk operations, either native SQL or HQL or criteria API. So right now my intention is getting one record or more records. Speak out, Rababu. More records. More records means better to go for what? HQL. Fine. Sir, for single record, you can use session.load also, Naina. But when I'm giving condition, is there any guarantee? When I'm giving condition, is there any guarantee I will get only one record? I have a condition. I want to get the record whose street name belongs to RK Street. So how can you say only one record will come? Look at my requirement also, na? Yes, in component mapping, every mapping we can use single row operations. And moreover, I'm showing interest to get the record from get the record based on ID property value or other property value. Other property value. Other property means there's a chance of getting one record or more records. More records. ID property means confidently you will get one record. Then session dot load or get. But other property means there's a chance of getting more than, there's a chance of getting what? More than one record. Got it? Yes. Yes, guys. Select operations in component mapping. Select operation in what? Component mapping. Is that clear? Right. Yes. Now let's go for annotation driven component mapping. Annotation driven component mapping. Yes. Use embeddable embeddable on the top of helper class. That means as a relationship class, as a relationship class like address. Okay, address class to indicate that it is not a entity class, it is a helper class. Embeddable means helper class or okay, attachable class. What class? Attachable to other class. Attachable class to other class. Attachable class to entity class. Yes, guys. Next, use embedded. Use embedded to mark the property as component property. To mark the property as component property. Yes. Okay. Where is this? In student info class. In student info class. Tell me. Private address addrs. Private address addrs. Tell me. At the rate embedded. Embedded ID for composite, boss. Embedded ID for composite ID, but just embedded for component map. Okay, let's convert this entire application into annotation driven. It won't take much time, you know that. Close the project. Close the project. Say paste 54 no. What is this? Component mapping. 54 no component mapping. Forget about that. Go to utility class. No need of adding both classes. Just add entity class. That's it. Just add entity class. CFZ dot add annotated class. Okay, what is that? Student info. Student info dot class. No need of adding both classes. Yes. Okay, anyhow, we stopped keeping class names, mapping file names in the configuration file long back, boss, because Hibernate 5 is not supporting that system. Right. Now, to tell that, mm, to tell that this is not a normal class entity class. That's why at the rate entity. Okay, somehow it is not pointing with the same table, guys. So that's why at the rate table name is equal to student underscore info. Student underscore info. Next. At the rate ID, at the rate generated value, at the rate ID. Next one is what? At the rate generated value, strategy is equal to auto. Generated value strategy is equal to auto. If you don't mention also, default is auto only. Yes, guys. Next. Okay. Yes, I want to have a control on length here. If at all table created dynamically, better to have a control on length. Okay, no need of mentioning property name. Length is equal to. I think length for numeric properties waste, boss. Length for numeric properties is waste. Understanding my statement? Seshbhushan on SNY should write at the rate embedded. Worst fellow. Don't know common sense. At the rate embedded should be added where here? On the address property. Right now I'm in SNO property. Why you are excited to write what? Embedded multiple times. Yeah, if you want to control the type, you can control the type. Type is int. Nice. For string properties, we can control the length, guys. LUMN. At the rate column, tell me. At the rate column, type is okay. Length is equal to LENGTH. Length is equal to 20. At the rate type string. Yeah, right now table is already there. If at all not there, if I am developing application directly through what? Annotations, then float, okay, float, length is equal to 10, precision is equal to 2. At that time, length is not having any, this, okay, length is not having anything. Okay, here what? Scale part, we can play with the scale part. Scale is equal to 10, precision is equal to 2. Yes, guys. Here no length, nothing. At the rate embedded. At the rate embedded. Let's look at specify persistence field or property of entity whose value is an instance of an embeddable class. The embeddable class must be annotated with at the rate embeddable. It says that it is not a normal property. It is an instance of another class. Embeddable class. Got it? So this is very important. This is for component property. Property as component property. Yes, guys. Go to address.java, do the same thing there. There is no need of writing at the rate entity, at the rate table there. Why? As usual, story boss, because that is just a helper class, not that's not a main class. Yes, yes, done, guys. Fine. Yes. Now you run the application. First insert test. Nothing changes. Okay. Nothing changes. Inutil already changed. Go to at the address class. Yes, you should write one more annotation. Embeddable. Embeddable. Have a look on this. Specifies a class whose instances are stored as an intrinsic. Intrinsic means inside other object. Intrinsic part of an owning entity. An owning entity and share the identity of that entity. This class is not having any identity, no table, nothing. It will be part of another entity class object that's embeddable, attachable. It is not going to have any of its identity. Suresh, Panjagutta, Mahesh, KPHB. Yeah, this is normal, boss. Yeah, this will insert another two records. Unique constraint. Unique constraint. I'm not using any generator. Oh, this generator again freshly starting the things, guys. I will tell. Now it is freshly starting the sequence. It also started with 1 and 2. It also started with what? 1 and 2. That's why that problem has come. Okay, because newly created sequence. Here, newly created sequence. Freshly created sequence also started with 1. Okay, 1 2 time exceptions will come. After that, new numbers will start generating. Again, exception will come. Okay, now two more objects are inserted. Student info, student info. First time what happened? Try to insert 1 and 2 values based student record. Already their exception came. Now see if any while in sequence numbers will generate continuously, irrespective of whether they are used or not, whether they are inserted or not. So that's why for next two records 3 and 4 will come. For next two records 3 and 4 will come. Did you notice that, guys? Here 3 and 4. First time exception came, two numbers are wasted from the sequence. Two numbers are wasted from the sequence. Got it? Okay. So now we are getting this. Same thing. Now, what about retrieving operations, sir? Select test. I think now belonging to arcade is two records are there, and we are going to get both the records. 1 and 3 both records belongs to RK Street, and I got them. Easier, not easier. Converting into annotation driven and a setup is easier, not easier. Dead easy, nothing great. Okay. So this is my main class, guys. Here is my address.java. Here is my address.java. That's it, boss. So this is about what component mapping was. Yes, now our next discussion is inheritance mapping, boss. Another important advanced mapping concept. Another advanced mapping concept. Yes, very, very important. Yes, now listen. Entity classes are Java classes. To enjoy extensibility, we can keep them in the inheritance relationship or not. Say something, guys. To enjoy extensibility, we can keep them in inheritance relationship or not. Yes. Who is standard in both map? I didn't get you here. Vivek Kumar, what do you mean by who is industry standard in both mappings? I didn't get you. It depends upon the situation, na? Vivek Kumar, you are talking about component mapping or you are talking about annotation and XML? Be clear in your question, guys. You have written question, who is industry standard in both mappings? What do you mean by that? XML and annotations, huh? Or you are talking about in between inheritance mapping and component mapping? With respect to what you are talking? Inheritance and component mapping. That depends, Ra Babu. That depends. You know when to use inheritance between classes and when to use component between classes, then you never ask this question. Sometimes we design classes. Sometimes we design classes with inheritance. Sometimes we design classes with a component. I mean to say composition. When you design classes with composition, go for component mapping. When you design classes with inheritance, go for inheritance mapping. I just kept the side heading and you are asking me conclusion. Great guys here. I should keep your brains in the museums. I just kept side heading and you are asking me conclusion. This sorry, this should not be your learning attitude. First learn what it is, then we can come to one conclusion. Okay, since you asked, I am telling, listen. When one class want to use entire behavior of another class, then I should prefer both classes in the easy relation has a relation. Easy relation has a relation. Easy relation, nothing but inheritance. Getting my point? No, I'm not ready to use entire behavior of another class. I just want to use few properties, few methods of another class. Then think about going for composition, nothing but has a relation. That time go for component mapping. Clear? So right now that is not my introduction. My introduction is different. Everyone concentrate. I will review that one later. So that's what core Java is very thing and common sense is another thing. Then certain questions will be answered automatically. No industry, see, so all these advanced mappings are not alternate to each other. Let me say directly on your face. If needed, all together will be used or any one will be used. Okay, all advanced mappings are not alternate to each other. Let me be straight on your face. Based on the requirement, you have to choose each advanced mapping. If needed, you can use all advanced mapping together in one application also. Okay, first come out of the feeling. New comes means old one should go. Sh- Only listen. Inheritance mapping. I am talking. I can keep Java class in the inheritance. Entity classes are Java classes and they can be kept in the inheritance. What do you say, guys? Entity classes are. Can we keep tables in the inheritance? Did you ever heard about super table and sub table? No, parent child is different. Parent table, child table means relationship. I'm not talking about relationship. I'm talking about super class, subclass. Yes, there in Java. Super table and sub table kind of concept you have ever heard? No. But classes can be there in the inheritance. Tables cannot be there in the inheritance. Come on. But classes of inheritance should be mapped with one or more table. Sometimes one table, sometimes more tables. Is it possible with basic OR mapping? Not possible. Don't you think this is another mismatch between Java and database? Database does not support inheritance between tables. Java support inheritance between classes. In OR mapping, classes should be mapped with tables. So Java is having inheritance feature, database is not having inheritance feature. But still classes of inheritance should be mapped with what? One or more tables, right? Yes or no? Na? That means one more mismatch we found. And this mismatch problem is called subtypes problem. What problem? Subtypes problem. Why they are named as subtypes? Are inheritance super subclasses are there, na? That's the reason they named it as what? Subtypes problem. And how to solve this subtypes problem? Through one advanced OR mapping. What is that advanced OR mapping? Inheritance mapping. Inheritance mapping says, hey, classes of inheritance with special tags and special annotations, you can map your classes either with a single table or multiple tables. Either with a single table or multiple table. Don't worry, I will give instruction to Hibernate. Basic ORM says I cannot do that. But advanced OR mapping, nothing but inheritance mapping says, yes, I can do it. So it is addressing which problem? Subtypes problem. What problem, guys? Subtype. This is mismatch number 2. One day I will list out all the mismatches. For the timing, you just worry about. Problem of granularity is one mismatch. Its solution is component mapping. Next, inheritance subtypes problem is one problem. And okay, its solution is inheritance mapping. We can keep the entity classes of Hibernate We can keep the entity classes of Hibernate in the inheritance. In the inheritance, because they are Java classes. Because they are Java classes. But we cannot keep DB tables in the inheritance. Okay, in the inheritance. That means we want to map the classes of inheritance, the classes of inheritance with one or more DB tables, which is not possible while working with basic OR mapping. This is called subtypes problem. This is called subtypes problem. To overcome this problem, we need to give special instructions to to overcome this problem. We need to give special instructions to what instructions here? Special instructions to hibernate to map the classes of inheritance with one or more DB tables. With one or more DB table using advanced OR mapping called inheritance mapping. What mapping, guys? Inheritance mapping. Everyone understood my point there or not there? Advanced OR mapping called inheritance mapping. Right. Fine, guys. If one class wants to use entire properties and methods of another class, then go for inheritance. If one class wants to use entire properties and methods of another class, then go for what? Inheritance. Right. Next, if one class wants to use few properties and few methods of another class, then go for composition. composition. So inheritance is always what here? Is a relation. Is a relation. Composition is always what here? Has a relation. One is a relation, other one is what? Has a relation. One is a relation, other one is what? Has a relation. Everyone got the clarity here? Yes. Okay. Now listen. Four types of inheritance mapping is possible. Four types of inheritance mapping. Inheritance mapping, also called as inheritance mapping strategies. Inheritance mapping strategies. Strategies means plans. So as of now, four types of inheritance mapping are four inheritance mapping strategies. Okay. What are those? Yeah. Table per class hierarchy. Table per class hierarchy. Table per class hierarchy. Next, B. Table per subclass. C. Table per concrete class. Table per concrete class. D. Table per concrete class with implicit polymorphism. With implicit polymorphism. Table per concrete class with implicit polymorphism. People say generally three, boss, but I prefer saying four. I prefer saying four. Understanding my point? Yes. Yeah. What is what, sir? All all entity classes of inheritance hierarchy. Inheritance hierarchy will be mapped with single table. Will be mapped with single DB table. That's it. Yeah, if 10 classes are there in the inheritance hierarchy, will be mapped with a single DB table. Everyone getting my point there? Yes. Each subclass, each subclass will be mapped with separate table, will be mapped with separate DB table having one-to-one relationship. What is this? One-to-one relation with parent class. Okay, super class DB table. Super class DB table. Here you have to keep tables in relationship. Super class DB table. Next. Each subclass will be mapped with a separate DB table having having both having having both superclass comma subclass related columns, having both superclass comma subclass related columns. Array, here for superclass subclass same thing will be there. I'll explain everything separately, don't worry. Each subclass will be mapped with a separate DB table having both superclass comma subclass columns. Subclass column. That means one table will have both common columns and specific columns here. Having both common columns, common and specific columns. Okay. Subclass 1, table 1, it will have common properties column and specific property column. Common properties column and specific properties column. Don't worry, we are going to study each and everything separately. I'm just introducing what is what. Each subclass will be mapped with a separate DB table having both common and specific column and classes will be configured as normal classes without highlighting highlighting their inheritance. Their inheritance. Without highlighting their inheritance, the classes will be configured. Yes, I know. Don't worry about these subsections, boss. Worry about main titles only. Subsections are a bit technical. I know this is a bit heavy. I agree that. Fine, guys. Table per class hierarchy, table per subclass, table per concrete class, table per concrete class with what? Implicit polymorphism. What polymorphism? Implicit polymorphism. Guys, enjoyed my point? These are the four models that are possible. Let us take first one. Let us take first one. Yeah. Table per class hierarchy. As I said, as I said, all the classes of inheritance hierarchy will be mapped with a single table. That means table will have superclass superclass properties, superclass properties related column, and all subclasses related all subclass properties related columns. Understanding my point? That means table is going to be very lengthy table. I hope you are understanding my point. Table is going to have superclass properties related column and all subclasses related properties related columns. Come on. So that means huge number of columns will be there in the table. I will design, you will get idea. Don't worry. Okay. So here, what is the point? Yes. First you see this one, then I will give the point. Let us assume I have a person class, which is a superclass. It is having some properties, common property. Person ID, name, company. Company is a common property, yes, sir. Yes, company is a common property. Even address is also common property. Why? Student, oh, sorry. Student will have a company, yeah? Leave it then. Okay, ID will be there for student, ID will be there for employee, ID will be there for customer, right? Name everyone, address there. Okay, if you want, you can take other things also, gender, etc. XY. Super class. Here we are having subclass 1, subclass 2. If you are interested, you can take subclass 3 also. What is the relationship extends? What is the another relationship extends? Here is my employee. Here is my student or customer. Anything you can take. Yeah, specific properties, boss. Employee will have a designation. Employee will have a designation, salary, department number. Department. Student will have. Student will have. Okay, boss. Student will have college. Student will have college. Hmm. ID means roll number only, ra, worst fellow. Okay. Next, average. Okay. College, average. I think these two are the specific properties of the this one branch. What is their branch? Yes. Now tell me, all these here three properties, here three properties, here three properties. Total 9 properties. All 9 properties related columns will be there in a single table. That's the reason. Table per class hierarchy. All the classes of inheritance hierarchy will be mapped with what? Single DB table. That means DB table contains columns for superclass and subclasses related properties. So table is going to be very lengthy. I hope you are understanding my point. Table is going to be very lengthy. In real time, superclass 10 properties, subclasses 20 properties. Okay, like these 3 4 subclasses are there. So 3 4 into 20 80 and superclass 10. Total 90 properties are there. 90 taking table with 90 columns should happen if you follow this table per class hierarchy. Are you getting my point there or not there? Super boss. What should I do? Here, all the entity classes of inheritance hierarchy. Hierarchy will be mapped with single DB table. ऐसा no na single DB table. Okay, and this DB table should contain huge number of columns. Huge number of columns. Huge number of columns because it has to it has to maintains columns for maintains columns for mm, super and all subclasses super and all subclasses related properties. Okay, one important point here. There should be one discriminator column in the table, boss. Along with above columns, along with above huge number of columns, you should also take one discriminator column. Are you getting my point? What do you mean by discrimination? Differentiation. Which record is inserted using which entity class of inheritance hierarchy? Having that information, you must take one discriminator column. Or at the time of retrieving records, at the time of update and delete operation, okay, records will be identified based on this discriminator column only. See, boss, I insert record by using person. I insert record by using employee. I also insert record by using student. And all of them are going to be inserted into same table. So there should be one discriminator column in the table indicating which record is inserted using which entity class or not. Seriously, literally indicating what? Which record is inserted using which entity class or not. I want reply from you people. Come on, guys. Which record is inserted using which entity class? Which record is inserted using which entity class? That should be having that information. You should take one discriminator column. What do you say, guys? I hope you are understanding my point here or not. Okay. Yes. Okay. Now let's see. The DB table, I'll give table also, don't worry. DB table should have one extra column along with the above huge number of columns, okay, indicating which record is inserted using which entity class of inheritance hierarchy. Are discrimination means showing difference, na? Okay, look at the DB table, then you will get idea. DB table. Let's see. Okay, I'm taking INH underscore person. My DB table is what? INH underscore person. Cool, guys. There, ID, PK, name, address, designation, salary, DEPTNO, college, average, branch. Along with these columns, guys, you should also have one more column called any name that you have to configure explicitly, no doubt in that. Person underscore type. In the mapping file, you have to mention this is a special column, nothing but discriminator column. Nothing but what? Discriminator column. Okay, for that column, no property, boss. No property. Wait until I give a complete explanation. Focus. Right. Let us assume I inserted record by using person, boss. Then what happens? 101. Raja, Hyderabad. This will be null. This will be null. Seriously null. null, because actually not visible. That's why I'm keeping empty. In person underscore tie, let us assume PER, where I will write PER. Okay, this is discriminator value I have to write in the mapping file. If at all record is inserted by using person class object, PER is the discriminator value. Like this, okay, all the record inserted by person class object will be identified based on this discriminator column value PER. Got it or not there? Suppose if I insert the record by using employee 102, Ramesh, Hyderabad, designation clerk, salary 9,000, department number 1001, here empty, EMP. Suppose if 2, 3 records are inserted, suppose using employee, one more record is inserted. Employee, okay, Mahesh, designation is actor, okay, 8,000, 1,001 department number, EMP, again EMP only. Here null values, in this case here null values. Okay, boss. Null, empty, wherever empty things are there, they are the nulls, boss. Suppose I inserted one record by using student 104, Suresh, Vizag. Now what? Empty, here empty, here empty, empty. Tell me here, what is the college? What is the college? CBIT. What is the average? 90.955. 90.55. Next. Ninety 90.55. Branch EC. Here what will come? Stud will come. Yes, like this we have to insert the records, guys. I hope you are comfortable here. There is no question of not taking discriminator column. You have to take. If you don't take and configure, okay, Hibernate framework does not count, treat it as a table per class hierarchy strategy. It won't treat it as what? Table per class hierarchy strategy. Always remember that. There's no question of I don't take. You have to take. Discriminator value configuration is mandatory here. Discriminator value configuration is mandatory. Everyone got the clarity, guys? There is no, the discriminator column is compulsory to configure. No question of I don't configure. Discriminator column configuration is compulsory. Otherwise, at the time of retrieving update deletion, how does it knows, oh, this fellow is trying to delete the record by using person? I should search only in person type records. So that discrimination it will do based on discriminator column value or not. Suppose I performing select operation by using student. From student I said, how does it knows? So and so records are inserted by using student entity class, and I should give only student related records. So again, based on discriminator column values only, it will be differentiated. So discriminator column in this strategy is mandatory. Understanding my point there. In this strategy, otherwise we cannot retrieve the records by using our choice class of inheritance hierarchy. I said from employee. If there is no discriminator column and values, how does it will retrieve only employee records, right? I said from student. How does it retrieve only student records? If discriminator columns is not there and discriminator value is not inserted into that column at the time of insertion, come on. What discriminator column is holding? It is holding which record is inserted using which domain class of inheritance hierarchy. That information it is maintaining or not. So that when you are doing update, delete, select operation using different classes of inheritance hierarchy, based on that discriminator column value only, appropriate records will be selected on that one select and what update delete operations will take place. In this strategy, discriminator column configuration and discriminator value. Okay, discriminator value configuration for each domain class is mandatory. In this strategy, discriminator column configuration and discriminator value configuration for each domain class, nothing but entity class, is mandatory. It's not optional. Okay. Next. Okay. In this strategy means plan, boss. Okay. In this strategy, use class tag to configure superclass and subclass tags to configure subclass tag to configure subclasses as subtags of class tag subclasses. Okay. And what is this? Discriminator tag to specify and configure discriminator column. Yes, this is very important. Let's see the example was person.hbm.xml. Person.hbm.xml. Cool. Yeah. Hibernate mapping. Yeah, all the classes are going to be there in same package. Instead of mentioning package for 3 times, here only I can mention package. com.nt.entity. Yes. Under this what tag here? Class tag. What is this class name? Person. Table is what? INH_person. Yeah. What is new one, you know? Discriminator. Hyphen value. Come on. Discriminator hyphen value. Class name person, table is equal to INH_person, discriminator hyphen value PER. So that what happened? Whenever I do any insert operation by using person, session dot save person, okay, record will be inserted in the table only for few columns, remaining columns are null, okay. But in the discriminator column, whatever I configure there, PER will come. Yes, ID name is equal to ID, okay. Generator class is equal to, annotations I'll introduce later, okay. Generator class is equal to increment. End of what tag? ID tag. Yeah, next immediately you have to configure discriminator. Discriminator column is equal to person underscore type, type is equal to string. Array, if you want to control sizes, you can control, that's up to you. Length is equal to 10. Yeah, for remaining things also we can control, but this also we can control. Yes, next superclass properties. What is next super property? Property name is equal to yes name. Yes name or name? I think I have taken name. Okay, nice. Next, property name is equal to address. Property name is equal to address. These are the superclass configuration, guys. Superclass configuration. Next, subclass. Subclass name is equal to, what is this? Employee. That's it. No need of configuring any tags, boss. No need of configuring any table, because I am writing subclass tag under class tag, And did you notice it? I am specially configuring this discriminator column. Come on. Okay. Sheikh Aziz, discriminator value is equal to PER. Just now I have shown, my dear, in this discriminator column, PER is coming when record is inserted by using person object. Okay, that person I have mentioned. For employee also I have to configure, no doubt in that. Okay, for employee also I have to mention. This is, and discriminator column will not be mapped with any properties, boss. Discriminator. Yes. Subclass name is equal to employee. Discriminator value we have to configure. Discriminator hyphen value is equal to EMP. Discriminator hyphen value is equal to EMP. Property name is equal to, what is this? Designation. Yes. Say paste. Property name is equal to what here? Salary. Property name is equal to what here? Department number. End of what tag? Subclass tag. End of what tag goes? Subclass tag. Okay, that is over. So now I'm interested to go for one more subclass tag for student. Yeah, subclass name student. Discriminator value is stud. Same stud is reflecting. Did you notice it? Okay, property name. What's the property name I have taken? College. What is the next one we have taken? Branch. Branch. What is the next one I have taken? Average. What's the next one I have taken? Average. Fine. End of the class tag, guys. End of the class tag. Okay. End of the hibernate hyphen mapping tag. Hibernate hyphen mapping tag. I think now easy na? Yeah. If you write these tags in this order, then only the strategy will be treated as table per class hierarchy. Then only the strategy will be treated as a table per class hierarchy. I hope you got a clarity there. Understanding my statement there or not there? Okay. Discriminator column. Yes, this is one. This is one. This is one. Discriminator column is optional or mandatory? Discriminator column is optional or mandatory? Yeah, now listen. How does it knows all classes should point to the same table? Listen, subclass tags are written under class tag, and all class tag and subclass tags are pointing to the same table, right? Single table. So that what happened? All classes of inheritance hierarchy start pointing to the same table or not? Yes. Based on the tax boss, how does it will decide the strategy? How superclass is configured, how subclasses are configured, which tags are used. Okay, which tags are used, based on that strategy will be decided. If superclass is configured using class tags, subclasses are configured by using what? Subclass tags. Which tags are? Subclass tags. Which tags was? Subclass tags. Okay, automatically. What happens, guys? Okay, the strategy will be decided as a table per class hierarchies inheritance mapping. Sir, are there any limitations with this, boss? Okay. One more level of inheritance, huh? Yes, possible. Under subtag, you have to write one more subclass. Under subclass tag, you have to write one more subclass. Someone asked me, sir, if employee is having one more subclass, manager employee, student is having one more subclass, brilliant student, then how to write those things? Under subtax tag, one more subclass tag. Everyone got it? Yes. Any level of inheritance, you can go for it. Yeah, it will bring complexity if your wish. Discriminator column. Okay, discriminator column is direct column, and it will not be mapped with any entity class property. Any entity class property. Sir, it is a good practice or bad practice? There are some limitations in this strategies, boss. What are the limitations of this strategy? Number one, we need to design lengthy database table. Database table having huge number of columns. So designing database table with a huge number of columns is a bad practice. Okay, understanding my point? We need to design DB table with huge number of columns. Number of columns, which is a bad practice. which is a bad practice. Right, guys. Next. Next. Okay. The columns of the columns mapped with subclasses properties, mapped with the properties of subclasses, with the properties of subclasses cannot be taken as non-null columns. Non-null columns. Can we apply not null constraint on those columns, boss? Can we apply not null constraint on those columns, boss? Come on. If I insert by using employee, okay, student information will not be there. If I insert by using what? Student, employee information will not be there. I hope you are understanding my point there. So that's why we cannot apply not null constraint on the columns that are mapped with the properties of subclasses. Mapped with the properties of subclasses. Seshbhushan ja, redundancy means duplication. Where duplication is happening, ra babu? No duplication is happening, worst fellow. Okay. Branch is redundancy. No duplication, guys. That is not duplication. Duplication means what? Certain information should come again and again. Certain entity information should come again and again. So redundancy is different. Please don't bring that to me. The columns mapped with the properties of subclasses cannot be taken as not null. Next, number C. To work with discriminator column, we must use native SQL. Sorry, there is no question of dealing with the discriminator column without native SQL. Why, sir? Is there any property in entity classes for discriminator column? Not there. So if you want to work with, still you want to work with what? Discriminator column in your persistence logic. The only option that is left is what? Working with native SQL. Everyone understood my point. As this column is not mapped with, this column is not mapped with, mapped with property of entity class. I hope you convinced with this, with the property of, with any property of entity class. Yeah, because of lengthy DB table, it is not industry standard. In industry, no one prefers this standard, boss. This is not industry standard. Are you sure, sir? Yes, I am very much sure this is not industry standard. I'm very much sure this is not industry standard. Because of lengthy DB table, it is not industry standard. Okay, which is industry standard, sir? I noticed in the industry, everyone prefers second one here. Second one is the best. Why, we will discuss later. The best is this. I hope you thoroughly theoretically enjoyed table per class hierarchy inheritance mapping. Now you observe indirectly solve subtypes problem or not. Okay. Array, then why it is not interested? Why did you discuss? Array, database designer is very keen of taking single table. Very keen of taking. He is not ready to change to multiple tables. Then you have to adjust with this strategy. It is not industry standard means if table designing is there in our control, okay, we never prefer this. If table designing is not there in our control, already table designing is over, and you have to map multiple classes of inheritance hierarchy with the same table, that time go for it. Dynamic table creation freedom is given to developer. We never follow this strategy. No, that is not dynamic table creation. Database is already designed. Then we cannot work with. We have to work with this strategy. Industry standard means we don't prefer, but in a special situation, we will be forced to use it. For certain projects, database is already designed, boss. They never allow to change the database. So at that time, you have to think about this kind of strategy as an exceptional case. Come on, guys. I think after listening limitations, your maturity is increased. Okay, now go back to the first statement. Okay. Inheritance is there with the Java classes, not there with the table. But still I am able to map classes of inheritance with one table or not. In this situation, one table, in future with multiple tables. We are able to manage by taking the support of inheritance mapping or not. So that means advanced OR mappings are given, okay, to address the mismatches between database and Java. Sometimes database is having feature, Java is not having that feature. But still I want to map Java classes with the tables. Sometimes Java is having feature, database tables are not having that feature. Still I want to map Java classes with the tables. So it is the advanced OR mapping, maximum things are given to address mismatches that are there between Java and databases. Now tell me, OR mapping is very interesting or not there? Fine. Yeah. Second goes, that's what I said, na? Lengthy columns. Lengthy columns is always bad practice. Okay, Stayan goes, you are talking about the point which I have given. Already lengthy columns are there. I mean to say huge number of columns are there. One more subclass is added. Some more columns will be added. So one more subclass means some more columns should be added to table. So definitely it is going to be problem. Because in production environment, table now columns adding and deletion is not that much easy. So much complexity will be there, right? Yeah, since it is addressing mismatches between Java and database software, overmapping has become seriously popular, literally popular. Okay, if you are interested, I will highlight that drawback also. Adding new subclasses uh, makes you to add more columns to DB table, more columns to existing DB table, which is quite an issue in production environment, which is quite an issue in production environment. Got it now, guys? Fine. Right. So anyhow, we will implement it, and that knowledge we use base for other models also. Okay, study all these points and come for tomorrow's session without any failure. Tomorrow first we implement it. We will see all the things end to end. Then we will go for Then we will literally solidly go for what? Second, third, fourth in XML. Then same thing we have to through annotations. Later we have to go for collection mapping. Lastly, association mapping. Advanced OR mappings are very important. It's not like that single row are not important or bulk operations are not important. But these are more important for us. Especially association mapping is literally very, very important. Got it now, guys? Fine. Still, there is no need of learning XML because some tags, that's it. Thank you. Have a nice day.